It's Ashley.
And Shantavia, aka Shay.
And we're from Obedience Podcast, and we have some exciting news to share with you guys. We're excited to present to you guys the Identity Project.
That's right, and it is brought to you by Love Speaks,
Right.
which is a youth mentorship program
Here in the city of Mobile, Alabama. So this event will cover multiple topics such as bullying, mental health, identity, spirituality,
also dating, managing feelings and emotions that is so important in the Black community.
right?
Because a lot of us do not know how to manage our emotions and feelings, hygiene, and also being a leader.
That's right.
Plus so much more, y'all. That's just some of the topics.
So, yes, this is so important because, a lot of parents are scared to cover these topics, right? So, this event will cater to youth ages 8 to 18. But don't worry, those age groups will be split accordingly.
So this event will begin this Thursday, February 18th, and it's going to be between the times of 5:30 through 7:30. And it's going to be held every third Thursday of every month.
Right.
Every third Thursday of every month.
That's right.
Say it with us. Every third Thursday of every month.
This event will be held at Texas Street Recreation Center.
Yeah. Y'all know where it's at. Y'all been there before.
If you don't, ask Alexa, ask Google, Siri. Yeah.
They all know.
Yeah.
So if you want to enroll your child, don't worry. It is free 99. You don't have to pay at all.
Yes.
The only thing you have to pay for is gas to get them there.
Right.
That's it. But be sure to enroll them first just so the program is aware of how many people are attending.
That's right.
So we do have the website right here on the screen for you guys, and we will also include it in the post so you guys can easily access it.
That is right. So we have given you all the information. So the ball is in your court now. So go ahead and enroll your kids, your cousins, them. Go ahead and enroll them into this amazing event that Love Speak is bringing to you guys.
So go ahead and be a digital disciple and share this post.
Right.
But until next time, as always, be obedient. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Hey y'all,
It's Ashley.
and Shantavia,
And this is Obedience Podcast. So we want to welcome you guys to another live interview. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I can hear y'all. Let me hear you. Come on. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for your virtual
Support.
minutes. Thank you. So thank you guys so much for coming. We do see you guys in the chat today. Y'all are on and popping tonight. Hey, everybody. Hey, yes. Come on in the room and have a seat on the front row. We have saved you guys a virtual seats for this wonderful interview on tonight.
So go ahead and be sure that you like the live. It helps it go out to more people.
Yes.
Make sure that you go ahead and share with a friend. And then, what else? Oh, I said all I had to say. I'm just waiting for y'all to share.
Like and share. And subscribe if you haven't.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yes.
I mean,
But think
everybody
about
we see in the chat, we know they subscribe.
But just in case you're watching the replay, you
Yes.
just go ahead and hit that red button there. Make it turn gray. I think. I don't know what.
Oh, it turns.
Just don't let it stay.
It turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it change. Right.
Oh, thank you, Bond with Christ for Alexis. She
Oh,
was on
thank you,
last week.
guys.
If y'all haven't seen that, be sure to check that out.
Yes. Be sure to catch the replay.
All right. Yeah, that's true.
All right. So today, I know that y'all have been waiting to see who we have on today. We have our sister. She is no stranger to the show. She is Roslyn Rene from Therapy as a Christian podcast. Who is Roslyn Rene? Well, let me tell you just a little bit about her. She is the host of Therapy as a Christian podcast, where she shares how important mental health is to God, and how to share, and how therapy is an effective tool to heal with God. We just thought it was so important to bring her on today, because you have to be healed, to even get in relationship with God. Even before the healing starts, you can still grow, but that healing just takes it to another level. And that's when you can really experience faith and get to know God on so many other levels, and relationship just go through the roof. She did share, and we'll get into the interview just a bit. What of her evidence of faith moments. So we'll tap into that in just a moment. But yeah, without further ado, we will like to welcome Miss Roslyn Rene.
Yay!
Yay! Right? Come on, Lisa. Look at it.
I love y'all so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Come on.
It was a little dark, but I'm trying to, let the light
Come
hit
on.
the face, girl.
It's perfect.
Hi, y'all.
I've been shining on you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying.
Do you hear the angels? Do you hear?
Now this little light, I'm just trying to, this little light of mine, I'm trying to let it shine on me. You know what I'm saying? Hi, y'all.
How you doing? It's been such a while.
Yes. It's been since August. It's been since August, so it's been a little while since we've talked.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get into the interview. Before we do it, you know how we like to start off, guys. We do like to start off with the icebreaker. So Shay, go ahead and tell them what this icebreaker is about.
Okay, so if y'all were here last week, we decided to do it again. It was just that fun.
Just that much.
Yes. So we are gonna play another round of song association. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with this game, we give a word, and then you sing the first song that comes to your mind. Now, it can be any genre.
Okay.
The first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Everybody in the chat, y'all think of a song, drop it in the chat. So we want to see what y'all think of. What? How much we gave? 6 seconds?
6.
I'm sorry.
10 seconds.
Okay.
No. I know so much music, and I feel like I'm the person that's going to go blank. But yeah. Here we go.
We got it.
Okay. So for the first one, we give you a grace. And we give you like 15 seconds, but for everything else, we're going to give you 10 seconds.
Okay.
So you ready to start?
Girl, let's go. I'm trying to be like super focused, so. Okay.
All right. First.
Yeah. Okay, so the first word is smile.
Smile. Even when it's a Kirk Franklin song, sis. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
You got the word.
Smile. I can't sing, y'all. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Smile. Oh,
you know. So I smile, even when I feel I'm going. Y'all know the song. The people y'all know the song. The Kirk Franklin song. He's a hot top topic right now. So Kirk Franklin. Smile, I think is the song. Okay. I don't know if that was a horrible grace to me.
Yeah, you get right.
Oh, hold on. My alarm to make sure I was on time went off. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm here. I'm fully here, y'all.
All right. So the next word is bread.
What? Bread? All I keep thinking of is rap songs.
Hey, throw it out there.
I don't know. Oh my God, bread?
Time's up. What was your song?
I had "You Are My Daily Bread."
Oh, I thought of a rap song.
Any genre.
I couldn't think of it. I like singing. I couldn't think of a song. You were thinking of a hymn, Ashley?
It's not a hymn. I don't think it's a hymn.
It's not a song.
Your holy word.
Oh, you are my, or no, you are the living word. See, I was thinking of Fred Hammond.
Oh gosh.
It's in there though. You are my daily bread.
Y'all, she was so off tone.
Y'all, that was hard.
Grace though.
Give me the grace that I need. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the next word is king.
Oh shoot.
Oh, child. Why am I going blank, girl? I'm thinking of a Kanye song now from the album with
Jesus is king.
Yes, Jesus King, but it wasn't that song. Girl, how do this is not me. This is not my game, y'all.
Okay.
This is not my game, girl.
There you go, Dale. Take
Yeah. Oh, that is. Oh. I don't know why my mind.
I miss Tamala. Tamala. How did I miss Tamala?
Yeah.
Y'all. And that song is on my playlist.
It's on mine. All right.
Ooh, I'm not good at this, girl. We just gonna watch it to my head.
You got a song with King?
I don't know. You know, he's king of the South.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Naked Chronicles says already. Beyonce.
Right, exactly.
I don't know that one. Sorry.
Okay. So the next
Horrible.
word,
I'm embarrassed.
mountains.
Well, okay, no, see, I was gonna say, ain't no mountain high, ain't no valley low, ain't no river wide enough, baby. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are. Or the Usher song, Moving Mountains.
Oh,
mountains. I can't sing, but that's another thing.
Let's try to hit that high note.
I know my range.
Right.
I really don't know my range.
Get away from this song. That's my song, girl. That's my song.
Oh,
That song got me through so much. I remember.
Which one?
You Made a Way by Travis Green.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Ooh, that's a classic. You cause walls to fall.
They said, yes, you let us sing.
Why y'all lying to me? I mean, I love the hype. You know, I'm the hype man, but I appreciate the hype. Thank you, sis.
All right. The next one is heart.
Oh, y'all, I want so blank.
That's it.
I'm not. This is not my game.
I
was just gonna ask. I know the song, but I don't know who's
love is real from my heart to yours.
Is that
Ooh, Clean Heart? Yes. Oh, that's a good. So see, the people in the comments know these songs. Because as soon as you put a word up, I keep thinking of another song that has nothing to do with the word. Not one. When I heard heart, I was like, I give myself away. Like, because I was like, yeah, I want to give my heart to God. Like, that's the only thing I could think of.
See, you over here trying to create songs and trying to
when you said bread, I thought of the song. Yeah, move that dough. Yeah, move that dough. Move that dough. I thought of dough, like bread dough, but like did not associate bread.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Right, you don't get this next one.
Okay, sis.
You should have put this one first, actually.
Hype me up.
Okay. The next song is Girl.
Girl, I needed somebody to talk to. Girl.
Yes. I was gonna get a little worried. We started to end this a little early.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, I think you redeemed. Yeah, you redeemed.
Man, my God. Oh, Jesus.
All right. So the last one, I do believe you're going to get this as well. Okay? Young fellas now. The last one. The pressure's on. The word is house.
House? Oh, that song where they go,
Please don't say Bob the Builder.
no, sis, no. Oh my God. House of the Lord. Jesus. How does this song go? This is horrible. Y'all, this is not okay, y'all. I apologize for embarrassing myself live on your podcast in front of people. Because I don't know how many people I was like hundreds of people. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
A house is not. Oh, that's a good one, sis.
That's when that came to me. Yes, Lufa.
Come on, Lufa.
Why was I going blank? All I could think of was the House of the Lord, and there's a song that says something about House of the Lord, and I cannot remember. Yeah,
That's the only one that came to me.
we saying Memphis. My bad.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I probably would have froze up too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I'm not good with on the spot stuff like that, I guess.
no, I have to know. Once I know, I can sing a song.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Come on, Luca.
since we have broken the ice, we're gonna go ahead.
We have, because I'm embarrassed.
Oh, okay. We're gonna go ahead and jump into the interview. I think everybody has warmed up. They're having a good time in the comments. Y'all talking about Trey Songz. I don't know how Songz got in this conversation, but you gonna keep it rolling.
It's Mr. Studio Girl.
Do it again.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, let's stay focused.
Switch it back over to this Christian.
Amen.
Okay. So last week we had Bong with Christ on, and she's in our comments now, and she gave us her definition of faith. So what is your personal definition of faith? And can you discuss the importance of faith?
Yes. Truly, I think I would say that my definition of faith is believe and move. Like, believe and move. Partially, if we're talking about this in believing God for things or believing God and who He is, I always associate the people in the Bible who always went to Jesus. So I say this like in a very, like when I explain it to people, it is everybody that went to Jesus for healing or went to Jesus for anything moved. They basically moved. They believed, but they also moved. So much so is I can believe Jesus heals me. I can believe Jesus is my savior. I can believe that in my heart, in my mind, but there's a difference when you move in it. It's a difference when you move and you go to Jesus. It's a difference when you believe, but also believe He can do all these things that He said He did and He said He's doing and who He is and all of these things. Partially, I believe that in the sense of the following statement Jesus always said to people when He did an act of faith or did something, a miracle, was your faith saved you, your faith healed you, your faith did this, your faith did that. And so in a short, very short way of explaining faith in my eyes is believing and moving. So that also ties into, if I believe God to heal me in my mental space, then I have to actively move in that, in doing the things to take care of myself, actively allowing God to be in my life, actively spending time with Him, actively, working on my heart and how I treat people, and actively following when I'm convicted, or not living in shame. But if I've, am at a place where I feel empty, going to God and asking Him, what does this mean? And so believe and move is essentially what I like define as faith. And I think that that's a very simple way of doing that, because I think it holds a sense of accountability, but it also ties to the gift of faith, meaning we're not able to do any of these things without God.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. It's so simple, but it's so true. Yeah. And so much power. But like, I shared my story like on how I wasn't activating my faith, but simply just like believing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I can't even put it into words. Like you have to move, you have to do something. You just can't be like, all right, God, I'm just gonna wait on you.
Yep.
You have to move in faith, and a lot of that comes with like changing your language, changing like what you do on a daily basis. So that is so good. Like it's a couple words, but it's so powerful.
Yeah, two powerful words.
Yeah,
and so true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. So going into our next question, and this kind of ties into our next episode that comes out on Saturday. We did want to discuss the other side of faith, which is like you have those moments of being low in the faith, or those days where you just kind of, oh, this test is a little hard, God, I need some help. So what do you, and we kind of shared like what we do and how to encourage others in those moments. So we wanted to know, like, how do you overcome those testing moments of your faith?
Girl,
Mm-hmm.
there's been so many. So I can give so many stories to this. God, do I have time, y'all?
I love a good story time.
I got my water, you know what I'm saying, girl? Okay, so things that I've learned over time have been to rely on God. Yes. Rely on my faith. Yes. Rely on moving. Yes. But a lot of times when you're actively in those, and also sometime in moving, you can also sometimes just land in doing things in your own strength and trying to do it all yourself. And I think a lot of times when you're tested in that, I think God allows us sometimes to get into that space to come back to him humbly, and quietly reminds us of when we get too far off. And not in a sense of shame. Like I always talk about, and I've always talked to y'all about, like, God is a dad. Yeah. My dad is always going to make sure I'm straight. Right. And he's not going to scold me for being off, because he sees ahead of me. He saw me before I was here. He knows my habits, my patterns. And so because of that, I'm going to be tested in life and in this life. But the way that I overcome is understanding I can't do things in my own strength. And so with that being said, how I've kind of learned to overcome things is not relying on my own strength. So what that practically looks like is I heavily and truly believe in relationship. So not only relationship with God, but relationship with people, relationship in my community. And so what that requires of me is to be super vulnerable. It requires me to be open. It requires me to be very vocal about how I feel when it's not so pretty, when I have to use choice words because I'm so frustrated with what might be happening, just being honest, because I don't know what's happening. And because of that, I'm like, I don't understand what God is doing, so on and so forth. I rely heavily on my husband. I rely heavily on just relationship with people, because the body is a body for a reason. But sometimes we can get so low that we isolate and don't utilize the body for what it is. There are things that you all are skilled in working together on a podcast that one may lift the weight of the other one, that if it was just you by yourself, you wouldn't be able to do it. And so because of that, relationship is huge. Another thing I've learned to overcome when I'm tested is just the reality that you're going to struggle. I won't even say struggle. You're going to be challenged. I used to associate challenge with I'm doing something wrong. Motherhood has taught me that I don't know what I'm doing, sis. I don't know what I'm doing. Marriage has taught me I don't know what I'm doing. Friendship has taught me I don't know what I'm doing. Owning a business makes me realize I don't know what I'm doing. Doing a podcast makes me realize I don't know what I'm doing.
That's true.
But at the same time, I understand that I'm not necessarily doing something wrong. I may be doing something new. I may not be doing something wrong. I may just be working through a learning curve. And I think we can associate new things or challenges as we're bad people, or that for this, I don't know what it is with sometimes with us Christians, we think that any challenge is this just horrible season where God is punishing us. And that's not the case. And so when I've kind of associated challenges or even times where I've been low in my faith as punishment from the Father, then I get resentful about being a Christian. I get overwhelmed when I see people winning and I'm not. Or I get this pressure point of I'm not acting in purpose because I might be at a low place. When that's not necessarily true, it's just sometimes you're in different seasons and days can feel like weeks and weeks can feel like months, but that doesn't mean we stay there. In every overcoming of faith, we've always been at a place where we overcome eventually, even if it takes time. And so that was a long-winded answer. So relying on relationship, not associating when I'm in these down times as I'm being punished. That still comes up every now and then, but it's something I work through. Also, just recognizing that more so than anything, God knows my desires. He may not give it to me when I expect it to happen, but he's going to bless me with understanding that I don't have to do anything to prove myself to him to be loved. I just have to stay faithful with what I'm doing currently in my life. And I think that does help me. Because there have been moments where I've been low in the faith. Very, very low. Very low. Like, am I even believing right now? Like, those kinds of things, sis. So, yeah, I hope that answered the question.
That did. I love that point of I don't know what I'm doing, because that's so true. A lot of things in this life, and you think that you know it all once you graduate from college or high school, but no, you don't. It's like we're supposed to know what we're doing. God will guide us through what we're doing, and we just lean and rely on him. So I love that.
That's so good. And be obedient along the way.
Girl, obedience is the most important thing. And so I always tell people, you know, especially when people are like asking me like, oh my gosh, how do you do this? Or how do you manage all these things? How do you do all this? And it's like, I don't know. I mean, there are innate gifts I have that I recognize that are innate that I don't really know where they came from, but I'm good at these things. But also that I compare myself to people. I, sometimes get very distracted. I can not always be, in my opinion, sometimes the best wife or, the best mom. There I try, but I think also too, it's you don't know what you don't know. And it's like you just kind of have to go with whatever is in front of you. Do the last thing God told you to do. And when you act in obedience and those things, then it's a matter of it builds up over time. Time is like you see successful people and they're like, oh my God, it took me 4 years to year. Well, 4 years isn't that long, but it was simple steps each day they had to do to get to the place they're at. So I think that means just being obedient to the last thing God said to do and just do it no matter what it looks like. Because there's sometimes you're like, I have no idea why you're telling me to do this. I don't even understand why you want me to go talk to these people. Why do I have to show up, Lord? I don't want to show up. I want to hide in the background. But obviously you want me to do this. So, okay, I'm going to do it. And then you find out later why. But
yeah, that aha moment is so good. And I also wanted to point out another thing that you said about, relationship being so important. And, with this podcast, like we had a two or better than one situation this morning where like I pay attention to detail, but I can't look at my own work. But Ashley can look at it and catch anything I don't catch. And I'm just like, two are better than one. Right. And we always try to work on our relationship outside of the podcast because like they say, build your rock on a solid, your house. So build your house on a solid foundation. Because if we're not solid, then there's always going to be cracks.
Yes.
Yeah. Fill the cracks as they come along.
Yeah.
Don't let anything small creep in, you know?
Yeah, that's just the
Yes. Yeah. So that's so good.
That is the best comment I've ever seen. Motherhood is the realest hood I've ever been to. Girl, that's hilarious. that says that right there, that was the best comment of the day. Girl, it's ghetto, it's ratchet, it's no idea what to describe it as.
Would not recommend. Did you see what realized it? Well, it's like adulthood is the worst hood. Would not recommend.
Girl,
0 stars out of 5.
Okay. All of it is ghetto. On every layer is just ghetto.
I just want to be a child again. Like the best hood ever. Okay. So next question. So Ashley shared a private podcast with me that you sent, and you discussed your faith journey of becoming pregnant. And I must tell you that really hit different with me, because it opened my eyes up. You know, you always say, you know, you have to be active, you have to be intentional. But actually, what I'm trying to say, actually displaying, hey, I'm going to treat my body as this. I don't want to give away the secret, but not the secret, but I don't want to give it away. I want you to tell it. But actually doing that opened my eyes up. And I have started to begin actively doing stuff regarding things that I'm waiting for in faith. So we wanted to ask, how important is it for someone to treat that situation as if they already are in it or have received it already?
Girl. So I'll give the backgrounds for the people that don't know. So I recently had a baby 3 months ago. He was 3 months yesterday. And so my son actually was prophesied to me 2019. He wasn't born until December 2020. So, and when I say he was prophesied to me, I am one of those people that don't really just take words that people say and be like, oh my God, just not that person. One, because I am very particular. Like, one thing I've learned is God is very specific about who speaks to me in regards to anything, because I've been through experiences where people have spoken to me and I've taken it as word and am all off in, North Dakota, sis. Who's in North Dakota? If anybody's from here from North Dakota, I'm sorry, but I'm in North Dakota. Okay. And I have to come back to Tennessee. And so I've learned to really kind of be sensitive to guarding my heart, for one, but also being very honest and true about what comes to me and bringing it to the Father. However, in 2019, so me and my husband had been married for a year. I started having these dreams of a baby, and we weren't really the people that's like, oh, we're going to have a kid this year, or we're going to be married this many years. We didn't care. We did what the adults do when they married, and if it just happened, it happened, sis. Okay. So we weren't really like, oh, we're going to have a baby, anything like that. But I started having dreams of a child. I don't necessarily label myself as a dreamer. Like, there are people who have dreams that are prophetic or God gives them dreams. I don't really foresee myself as one of those people. I don't know if that's one of my gifts, but I started having dreams of a baby. Then I had people come up to me like in rushing ways of telling me that I was going to have a baby, or they had a dream that I was pregnant, or, oh my God, you're going to get pregnant. And I was just like, God, who are all these people that you keep telling about this child that I know nothing about? Because I don't see this, Lord. And so I used to get my nails done all the time. I was someone who would go get my nails, and every 2 weeks, sis, fill in, I would make my appointment as soon as the nail girl opened her books. Okay. And so me and my husband, we cut down expenses extremely when we got married. And I was like, well, my nails are just one of those things. But this one particular day, I don't know why, I went to the nail shop and I was talking to my nail girl. We were talking about all this stuff. We were talking about kids, everything like that. And I was like, yeah, I think we might have a kid. People keep telling me it's going to happen. So she puts the color on my nails and she's like, Roslyn, guess what this color is? And I was like, what? And she said, it's called It's a Boy. And I was like, Lord, now I know you and I talk a lot, but you didn't tell me about this, okay? Like, I need to understand what's happening because you and I converse often. You didn't tell me about this. And I also know the way God talks to me is in very physical form. So I get physical signs of things. It's very hard to explain, but and a lot of things too that God does talk to me about is out of season. Like I have so many testimonies of things he's shown me physically or told me to do that's so out of season. And then when it comes back, I'm like, ooh, oh, okay, well, that was like 2 years ago, or that was 6 months ago, or all kinds of stuff. And so I was shookington, and I said, well, there's a boy. And I was like, who is this boy? Now, this is like May 2019. So fast forward, I go to this conference and I meet this girl. She and I are still friends to this day. And we were talking about kids and all this kind of stuff. And randomly, we went to Chipotle. I remember walking to Chipotle with her. And she was like, you're gonna be a mom. And I said, girl, I'm so tired of people telling me all this stuff about this child that I know nothing about. I know nothing about this child. And so she's like, yeah, you're going to be a mom. I was like, okay. So we left the conversation at that. We start eating and she randomly says, yeah, I see April for you next year. And I was like, April for what? She's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be April. I'm like, what do you feel like will be April? She's like, I don't know. This is 2019. This is like July 2019. I'm still dumbfounded. I'm like, Lord, at this point, I'm like, I don't know where this child is. So all these series of events. And so I bring that to God because, again, I'm very particular about who speaks to me. I felt so at peace with it. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm just going to chalk that to the back of my head. So as it gets closer to the end of 2019, me and my husband were starting to have the conversation of having a kid. And we were never on the same page. Like he would be ready, I wouldn't be. I would be ready, he wouldn't be. And we just never landed on the same page. And so then we were like starting to actually try like we weren't trying already, but that's a whole other story. Actually like tracking and, okay, I'm ovulating, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like that, girl. And so we were doing that and I was just like getting tired of buying pregnancy tests. And I said like, sometime towards the end of the year, I said, you know what, God? And I was praying about this child because I was like, I really want to be a mom. We've been married 2 years. I really want to be a mom. Like, I think at this point, we've kind of had our little honeymoon phase. We've taken care of so much related to our finances. I want to be a mom. And I was like knocking the door on 30. I was like, hey, girl, you about to be 30. Knocking at your door. What's going to happen? So I remember praying and I said, God, I'm going to really activate my faith in this time. And I'm going to start treating my body as if I'm pregnant. So for me, that was like, I'm going to eat better. I'm going to do a little bit better with exercising. But more than anything, I basically said in the year of 2020, I'm not going to drink any alcohol. Now, I wasn't an active drinker or anybody that just like drank. But I would go to brunch, okay? And I would have those unlimited mimosas. I would go get my bottle of wine, and after work, I would have me a glass and a half or something. Mm-hmm. And to me, that was just like my social way of drinking, but I wasn't somebody that's like shooting back Hennessy shots like I used to back when I was in my early 20s when, you drive to Atlanta, you like, girl, I want to go to Compound. You know what I'm saying? Like, back then. when you used to take Hennessy shots, you like, why am I drinking Hennessy shots? Heck, girl. Okay. Praise God for deliverance. All right. Girl, they got the Hennessy. You know, say that TikTok me. They got the Hennessy. That is hilarious. I am so sorry, y'all. I promise you I'm Christian. So sorry. Oh, damn. All right, so
moments. Thank you, Lord, for deliverance.
Girl, amen. Because I promise you, I used to be like, why are we buying $100 bottles of Hennessy? Like, why? Why? I'm drinking Hennessy and Sprite out of a doggone McDonald's cup. McDonald's cup. Girl, then we been buying this big bottle of lemonade and mix the Hennessy and oh my gosh. I'm telling y'all, like 23, 24, you just graduated college. Doing too much. It's oh, girl. Listen, I ain't gonna go there. Okay. So,
talk later.
So, insane to say, I just told God that I'm gonna give up drinking for the year 2020, and I basically said, God, I don't care if I get to the end of 2020 and I have not had a drink. I am not drinking. I am treating my body as if I'm pregnant. One, because I felt like I want to show you how much I trust you. Mm-hmm. I want to begin to speak life over my body because my womb is blessed, if that's what you say. And so I remember I told my husband about it. He was like, you mean we can't go to happy hour? And I'm like, yeah, babe, we can't go to happy hour. He's like, but you're my drinking partner. And I'm like, but I'm not going to drink with you. Like, it's not going to happen. And so, yeah. So, I mean, I told my friends, everybody was like, but you're not pregnant. You can still drink. I'm like, no, girl, this is what this is. So going into 2020, before we got into a panini, you know what I'm saying? Because we're clearly in a panini. We're all smashed together, you know. And so I remember like really purging spiritually. I was with like a group of girls that I had met at Tatum's podcast retreat. And we all used to get on a call and pray. And we used to do Bible study together. And I remember like spiritually just purging, because at the time when we started the pandemic, I was like, what is happening, God? I need to be in repentance, essentially, because you're punishing the world. But on top of that, I also wanted to be able to set myself up to understand, what did it mean to become a mom? What did it mean to pray over your body? What did it mean to pray over your womb? I remember fasting like so much. Not in a sense of specifically for my child, but just more so like, God, I really want to repent on behalf of my bloodline. I want to lay these things down to you that I have unforgiveness about towards my father, towards family members, towards people that have, you know, really hurt me in life, because I don't want any of that to impact my child. I don't want any of that to go into my child. And I remember just really consecrating myself to God for about a good month. Like, I just remember fasting a couple days a week and just being in prayer heavily. I remember just praying like, God, send me my child. Like, I understand that, you know, I'm walking this in faith with you, but I truly believe in you. And so I just started waking up saying I'm a mom. Mm-hmm. I started telling my husband, like, we're going to be parents this year. Like, I just want you to understand, we're going to be parents this year. And so I remember I'm trying to fast forward the story. I ended up finding out I was pregnant in April. It was during my Time with God challenge. I remember teaching the class and I felt really flustered. And I was like, why am I so hot? It was Holy Week. That's how I knew it was like strange. It was Holy Week. And I ended up just like, I thought I had COVID, but I hadn't gone anywhere. So that was a whole nother story. I was in the closet, like, calling the heavens down, like, devil, you will not. Okay. And ended up finding out the same week. It was Holy Week. And so when I found out, I lost it because I remembered the little message that I had gotten that I pulled back, and I pulled it back up, and I was like, you did tell me.
Yeah.
You did tell me. But it was me that needed to act in faith.
Wow.
it was me that needed to step out and trust that when you say something, God, you don't be lying. Like, I remember literally when I looked at the pregnancy test, I was like, you weren't lying to me. I was like, you weren't lying to me. And so I think then I really just was like, one of the reminders that I had throughout my pregnancy, which was really interesting. I used to always tell God, like, you know, God, my pregnancy was beautiful. Let me just also preface to say my pregnancy was so beautiful. My labor was so beautiful. I didn't have any morning sickness, y'all. I had no feet swelling. I barely gained weight. Everybody always said my face looked good. My face looked snatched when I was pregnant. Only little thing I had was heartburn. Nothing that really was like alarming. I had no high blood pressure. I had no gestational diabetes. I had no pain, no physical pain. I was still shucking and jiving. Even though I was tired, I was still shucking and jiving, girl. And my labor, I labored for 13 hours. I got an epidural. It was fine. I pushed my son out in 12 minutes. My postpartum period was great. I had great support. I didn't really struggle with a lot of pain following. Pregnancy was beautiful. My son is gorgeous. I love him so much, even though he turns up on me, and he is turning up, sis, but I love him turning up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really enjoy being his mom. And so what I associate a lot of that with is God took care of us. Like, I put over 100 things on my registry. Every single thing was bought.
Wow.
Every single thing. I remember the day after my baby shower, I remember just like walking to my living room. It looked like an Amazon warehouse, and I just cried. And I said, God, what did I do to deserve you? Like, what did I do to deserve all of this? And I remember him telling me, like, your faith did this. And it brought me back to that thing that Jesus always said to people, your faith has healed you, your faith has saved you. And so I think when it comes to someone trusting, this is just a very simple, like, story of, you have to know that, one, God moves in faith. And that's the way that he's always operated. Always has been in faith. And it always is a matter of trust. It's a matter of obedience. It's a matter of understanding that, yes, I am God. I hold all authority, and he does hold authority. But how beautiful is the gift that the King of Kings and Lords of Lords gives us the opportunity to also believe and move. And also gives us the authority to believe and move. Not in pride, because we only do this through him. Yeah. And so I think I associate a lot with my pregnancy story, because that's the most recent story, but I have tons of stories, okay, as a means, because when I look at my son, I'm like, man, I always used to say, I don't know what him and God had in heaven together, but he wants for not a thing. A thing. And so I think to myself, what God would not want to take care of me when I trust him? And I trust that he takes care of me. Why would God not want to shower himself, who has all things, when I just believe and I move in that belief? And so it's not tied to what I think. Because I promise I used to think all the time, like, man, maybe I'm barren. Like, what? Maybe God doesn't want to bless me with a child. But then I was like, no, like, I'm moving in this. And so it's so important to treat whatever you desire, not in an idolatry way, because I won't say I idolize having a child. I really just was like, I'm proving to you that I trust you. I want you to understand that I believe in you so much so that I will go as far as to do these things. And one thing I heard somebody say once was, when you move in spiritual ways, God has no choice to move. God moves in that way. He can do whatever you want to do, because there are times where I've said, oh, I'm going to do this, and it turns out to be it's not that situation, but then there's always a later lesson. But I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to learn. I'm still going to do it in trusting him. So that was a long story, but yeah.
It was good.
It's so good with the T on the end. Good.
That is such a good testimony, like God got your girl said.
Yes.
It's such a great example of just moving actively in your faith.
Right.
And it's a choice. It's a choice. And it's, I think about, what if I didn't? What would have been different? I truly believe that when I tell my testimony of my son, it frees other people.
Yes.
If if our testimony is supposed to be told, if we're supposed to share, I want to be able to share that. Why? I want to be able to share. Like there were people who followed me on Instagram that bought stuff from my registry. People I don't know, I never met. God touched them enough to buy me, my child, something who they don't even know. But you know what I'm saying? How would God move on somebody to give? Because the enemy ain't gonna move on us to give. He gonna, hold in, hoard. God touched somebody's heart. God puts me on somebody's mind to spend their money on somebody they don't even know, who they don't even know is being born. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of care that I get from my dad. Who would not want to serve him? Who would not want to love him? Who would not want to be in relationship with him? That's the kind of things you do for me, girl. Mm-hmm. That's where I'd be like, I'll start crying. But yeah.
He is definitely a good father.
That he is. A great loving father. That he is. So thank you so much for sharing your testimony. It's definitely I remember listening to that episode. I was in a doctor's office getting tested for COVID for the 15th time. And it helped me really examine myself, like where I was in my faith, and ultimately it was a part of how the series started, to really get people I had to examine for myself and to see if what I was believing God for, was I like backing it up with some action, basically moving. So thank you so much for your testimony. I pray that you continue we get to hear more testimonies about your life. Just continue to do it, just as an encouragement, because it's helping me and also others. So thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think too, the evidence or the state taking steps to do things does not have to be like extreme. Like, I kind of chose to not drink. It's not huge in my life, like not big, but it made a difference. And I think, thinking about quitting my job, I am thinking of myself, maybe I should type my resignation letter and date it. Short story. 2019 also, I was thinking about like, okay, I want to quit my job at some point and be home with my baby. Like, I was pre-thinking all of these things. And God told me to go part-time. And I was like, Lord, I don't think I can do that. This was 2019. This was before the Panini, before the Panorama, before all the things that happened. And I remember going part-time in my job following the pandemic. And of course, at that time, in May, we didn't know whether we were going back in the building. And then August comes, and of course, oh my God, everybody's panicking. We're not going back in the building. And my boss literally asked me, he said, hey, I know you're pregnant. Do you want to still go part-time? And I took it to God and I said, Father, like, what is this? Like, I don't know what's happening in the world, And he literally said, do what I said to do. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. Okay. So I went part-time, and in schools, they start your contract over. So you don't really know your pay rate because they started over and it was a whole thing. Partially with my job, because I went part-time, two things happened. All of my main responsibilities got moved to other people. So the main things that I was doing, I didn't no longer do. So I was working less hours. I was also at home. The third thing that happened that I had no idea, because I was hourly pay, my boss kept my pay rate the same. So I didn't even lose pay. I was working less hours and I was sitting on my butt pregnant at home. So I didn't have to do as much work as I normally would have to do. And I still got paid the same amount. And if I worked overtime, I got paid more. And there were weeks that he was like, oh, yeah, I know we're going into Thanksgiving. Clock a little bit more hours so you can make up for that time.
My God,
so
my
good.
God, my God.
So, you know, there were just things that he saw. He knew I couldn't do it. Like, I was pregnant. I was not trying to be up on the computer with a bunch of people. Like, I was working less hours, less. And when I left for maternity leave, all of the main things I was doing were already handed to other people. So I didn't have to go through the process of having to train or do all this other stuff. It was already handled. So this is what I think when especially in the theme of this podcast being about obedience, we don't know. Like, I didn't know there was going to be a whole panorama that was going to happen 5 months after God told me to do that. And he was like, do what I said to do. And I was looking at my husband. He's like, well, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Babe, it's whatever. And he still provided. And the beautiful thing is, because I went part-time, I still maintain my benefits. I'm able to take off 16 weeks for maternity leave. Where do they do that at? I don't know. So, like, it's evidence of following. And so evidence of faith isn't just even sometimes about like doing anything extra. It's really sometimes simply being obedient to the last thing God said to do. Yeah. And if it's something small as calling your mom every week to talk to her or something, I don't know, like I'm just thinking of something randomly, but just like small things he says to do, it's just important. And God does not say these things for us to be like, why? Because you don't know what you're doing. He says it because there's always a reason behind it. If I had stayed full time, I'd have been working more, doing things in my own strength. I would have had to do a lot more training for other people. I would have been on way more meetings. I would have had to maintain a whole classroom because the people that were full time got advisory sessions. So on Fridays, they had to be on the computer for like 2 hours. Who was on Fridays? Not I. I was clocked in at my 8 o'clock meeting. I clocked out, sis. No. And I was pregnant the whole time. It's just sometimes just like boggles my head. That's the daddy we serve.
Mm-hmm. That is so good. And it just goes back to, you know, what you said in the beginning with, you know, even how this podcast was created. We were just being obedient, and that's where the name came from.
Obedient.
And, you know, if y'all saw my makeup and ministry, that's going back to Peter in the boat, like he told him to go, to come. Yeah. And he moved. And that's just what we have to, just moving, like you said.
Move. Yeah.
It's simple.
And moving doesn't look the same for everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Sometimes moving can be sitting still.
Yeah, that's true.
I know you in that season right now.
Oh, gosh.
Listen, let me tell you, I was there from September to the time I had Elijah, and I was crying and kicking the whole time. Like, what you mean? I don't need to do anything and sit still. Are you serious? Do you not know that I'm trying to sit here and make this bag, Lord? Like, do you not understand? I'm trying to got things to do. And he's like, sit. Sorry, y'all hear my child. He's getting a bath. So, like, I understand. And sit in that season. You don't realize or rest. You're a whole different type of beast when you come out.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because it's when they start crying. Y'all know I'm a cry on here.
Crying is good. But you definitely need to, like, and okay, I know y'all ask me questions, but sit in the rest. Because you don't realize that when you don't rest, you're doing it in your own strength, and that's pride, and that's you trying to be in hustle mode, and that's not what we're called to be. We're supposed to be sheep. Sheep are really, really, really kind of foolish. You know what I'm saying? And if we're supposed to be sheep with, I'm sorry, now I'm just want to go in there. If we're supposed to be sheep, we have to understand that he's the good shepherd.
Mm.
So at the same time, although I'm a sheep, I ain't the shepherd. I got 4 legs, sis. I can't do nothing with 4 legs. I can't stand up and do nothing. He the one that got the rod. And so at the same time, sit in the rest, because I'm telling you, you're a different beast when you're able to be released. I know that season because I've been in that season, and the fact that God is like, go now, it's like I'm a different type of person. It's a different type of focus. And you also want to be able to rely on the rest when you have it, because being burnt out is nothing to play with. That's a mental strain. That's an emotional strain. It's a physical strain. It's a relational strain. You don't have boundaries when you don't rest. You don't have any type of calm when you don't rest. You are a mean person. You say choice words. Choice words is a fancy word for saying words that we don't need to say. Well, I can't say what we're saying, but you know what I'm saying? You're different. You're at a different place versus when God says sit down. He's like, he be dead serious. He's dead serious when he says it. It's almost like he's like, what you made? Why you gotta sit? Right. This ain't cute. This ain't sexy, God.
Ooh, that is so true. Because I feel like, because I'm in a season right now, I'm just believing God for a job in my purpose. And it's so hard each day getting up, because I find myself going on Indeed, looking for jobs, hour by the hour. And God told me to stop. Like, your job is not going to come from Indeed. I'm just like, what? I'm not going to be able to apply for my job. And I'm just like, God, this don't make sense. But I'm going to stop going on Indeed, because I'm just going to trust you. I said at the beginning that I'm going to turn up my trust in you, because I've been trying to do it on my own will for so long. But I've gotten to the realization, like, all right, I'm going to trust you.
So when we get off here, I'm going to IGDM you this podcast I did when I was going through that season.
Yes.
That season is ghetto. That's a hood I ain't really trying to be a part of, but I'm glad I said it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to leave prematurely.
Yeah.
Why? Partially. And I'm so off, y'all. I'm sorry that we're off on a tangent, but so long story short, I was in the same place with my current job that I work part-time in that pays me, you know what I'm saying? Like, that I got this whole situation with. I remember I had went and got a job and put my resignation in and never felt at peace about it. I was fasting. I was like, God, should I quit? Should I quit? Should I quit? Should I quit? Should I stay? Should I quit? Had already put my resignation in, was already telling my boss, hey, okay, after 2 weeks, I'm gone. And he was like, no, don't leave, stay. Like, what do we need to do to keep you? And I'm like, do you guys see what's happening right now? Like, I have lost it. Like, all wanting to be at this place, I have checked out. Have you not noticed that I've been checked out?
Yeah.
And so I remember fasting one day, and God said, you can choose whatever you desire, but it will take you longer to learn the lesson if you choose what you want to choose, basically. And so he basically said, patience and long suffering is what I need you to understand. Whatever God says to do, Ash, just trust. It does not feel good, because you're like, this place is on fire right now. It's on fire, Lord. Do you not see the flames? Like, I'm over here, like, I'm not enjoying this. I'm also not passionate about this anymore. I don't want to do this every day. I don't want to drive. I remember driving to work in tears most days. Obedience has such a greater benefit than when we walk out of that space, because we think that it's like, you're punishing me. You're essentially punishing me at this point, but he's not. There's so much more burning spiritually off of you because of obedience that you may not see. Long term, that will be like, I don't even understand what you were doing back then. And just know the job is coming.
Yeah,
and it's being prepared but you're walking in the season to get the job, you'll be so prepared mentally. And the beautiful thing is, it'll all be for the glory of God. Right. It won't because Ashley did something. It won't because Ashley got this bomb resume. You know what I'm saying?
You'll have a moment to sit on this screen and share that testimony. Just like Roslyn's doing right now.
Yeah, I said literally, God, I just want to share my testimony with people because I know that you're going to do it. I'm not even doubting at this point. It's just like, it's so far. Like, it just seems like it's been happening. Like, I've been waiting for it for so long. Like, but in the midst of it all, I just know. And I'm at the point where I don't doubt. And even when things come up at the work, at my job, and people are just crazy, but I'm just like, God, this is just a test that I'm going through. Yes. And I know that I'm going to pass, and it's going to be according to my faith. I know that you have all ability to do so. And I'm just going to stay in faith for it. I'm just going to believe you for it and move in faith every day.
Yeah. And there are days where you're not going to feel it. You're going to be like,
yes,
Lord, okay.
Yes, God.
I would be like, God, I know you're not tripping, but I feel like on the slight edge, this is kind of off the chain, Lord. Like, I don't understand what you mean. I can't go find a job. Like, I was on Indeed myself, sis, at work.
Yes.
On their clock.
7 o'clock.
No. You have the app on your phone looking at jobs. Like, that might be something.
Using my computer and internet.
It's hard, but yeah, just stay in faith. And even like I was getting ready to apply for a job. This was before God said, don't do it. I was getting ready to apply, and I didn't apply. God stopped me in my track halfway through the application. So I stopped, left home, and it didn't come back up for me to go back to apply. So it came around Sunday, and I got there a little bit earlier than usual. And one of the prayer people, they usually pray over the altar before. Yes, prayer warriors. Mm-hmm. They usually pray over the altar. And she came up to me. This is recently, like some weeks ago. And she was just like, you've been praying for something. You've been believing God for something. I said, a whole lot. Which one? In my mind. And she was just like, don't be distracted by false things. I was just, my answer. Thank you so much. And I just immediately just started praising God for that, because that was my answer. And I just believe when you're in faith that God will send people your way, that He will give you the answers. He'll talk to you.
Amen. Amen.
And we should always bring stuff back to Him. So don't do it if He don't say it. So just continue to be in faith and believe God for
man.
In faith.
That's a word right there. Don't do it unless He say do it.
Yes. Don't do it. Or you're going to be in cycle. Cycle. All right, y'all.
This was good.
All right, y'all. Okay, where were we?
So good.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, we even forgot to tell y'all, if y'all have any questions for Roslyn, go ahead.
Yes, ask me a love questions today. Oh my God, it makes me so happy. Yes, ask questions.
You should do it at the beginning, but we were so like excited.
That's okay. You know, we talked about that word association, girl. That was not my dish.
And while you guys are typing your questions, if you have any, please do check out her website, roslynrene.com. She has some things for you to buy. She has some. I attended her Time with God challenge. It was amazing. It's amazing, just to let you know. So go ahead and buy that. She also has some other time management courses.
Yeah.
And also a morning routine for during the pandemic. So be sure to check out her site.
And we'll also see tomorrow. Now, I'm letting y'all know early because I ain't told the people yet. So, if you are someone who is struggling with your mental health and you want to start counseling, I'm actually going to do a webinar on March 28th it's basically called Help Me Find a Therapist. And I'm going to go through everything that you need to know as it relates to finding a therapist. So how to find a Black therapist, how to find a Christian therapist, how to find a therapist if you have insurance, if you don't have insurance, low cost options, what questions do you need to ask when you have a consultation? All of these things. What do you need to expect when you go to counseling?
Yeah.
Additionally, so the webinar is going to be really in depth with that. And then additionally, and this is also if you want to find a therapist virtually. So this is not for just in person. It's also virtually. Additionally, with that, for free, my little gift to you, if you register for the webinar, you'll get a copy of my therapy reflection journal, which is basically a journal that you take to therapy. It's prompts. There's prompts in there, but it's designed for you to be your therapy sidekick, essentially. And you take notes in your session, reflect afterwards. It's just really, really good. So that will be on my website tomorrow around noon-ish. And then I'll talk about it on Instagram for the next week or so. But I really want to help. I did this webinar a long time ago, sis. And then didn't do it anymore. And I get the question at least once a week. How do I find a therapist? Can you help me find a therapist? Are you taking clients? And I'm like, no, maybe I need to share this with people.
Yeah.
So I am going to do a comprehensive, this is not something you can just Google. I'm going to literally walk you step by step through the process. So if you're interested, definitely follow me on Instagram, Roslyn Rene, or go to my website tomorrow and it'll be up. So
I'm so glad you said that because I was sure I'm actually starting therapy. I think it's in the top of April, mid-April, April-ish. But yeah, I was going on your site to order the journal, so that's awesome.
Yes. So you'll get the webinar when you purchase to get on the webinar, but you'll also get the journal for free. But if you're in therapy now, there's a link on my website to purchase the journal. So if you don't if you have a therapist already, you're already in counseling, I definitely recommend getting the journal. It's really good. Awesome. I wish y'all mine, but it's literally full. Like this is my personal one, and it's full. Like I have so much stuff in it. So.
It looks so nice.
Yes, it's really good. Like I really, 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 not to toot the horn, but I really do think it's really good.
We'll toot it for you,
girl.
We have her IG on the screen, y'all, so go follow her now. And we pin her website, so you guys can click on that link.
Yeah, the website is right in my bio too as well if you don't catch it. So.
Oh, she says it's social workers.
Social worker mom. Yes, girl. Yes. People don't be knowing who we are, so that's why I never really talk about it. But yeah.
All right, this has been absolutely amazing. Imagine
Me
it was
too.
going to be.
Yeah.
And God took it somewhere that He wanted it to go, and I'm so happy that we all had a chance to be in this place.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you again. We're gonna go so you can go be with your little baby boy before he goes to sleep.
I'm gonna go pump. Y'all see the cow? It's real. Okay. Go pump.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and let you go, and thank you so much again for coming on.
I've enjoyed y'all. Thank you for having me. You can have me on anytime. Just send me an email. I love y'all so much.
Oh, we love you too.
And I don't take a lot of interviews because I just, but y'all can have me anytime y'all need me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Let me cry again.
Oh no, I love y'all so much. Yes. All right.
See you next
time.
time.
See y'all soon.
Bye.
All right, y'all.
That was so amazing.
It was. This one, the interview with my cheeks hurt.
Yeah, right? I'm trying to
like
rest them.
Cheek exercise.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope that you guys enjoyed this interview as much as we did. It was, like Shay said, it was more than we can even imagine. I'm just full. I hope that you guys are too.
And that's the last episode for our Bedrock Faith series, and it's just the perfect interview, y'all. Mm-hmm. And that's just the perfect interview to end the series for interviews. It's still 2 more episodes, y'all, but that was our last interview, and it was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So Ashley got her little encouragement. I got my little encouragement, and I saw y'all in the comments. Y'all got y'all encouragements too.
Yes.
But before we go ahead and get up out of here, because it is almost an hour and 30 minutes, on this live. We thank y'all for staying with us.
Holding on. Thank
y'all
you.
are real MVPs.
Right.
Y'all are real goats. But be sure to follow us on all of our social medias at Obedience Podcast. I am going to work on getting that on the screen. And then be sure to follow us on our Facebook Live group. We may start going live in April. We're making some plans, so be sure to follow us there. And to go ahead and tell them about our prayer requests.
Oh, okay. That's like something else. But yes, if you guys have any prayer requests, you can send those to obediencepodcast@gmail.com, and we will stand in prayer with you guys. Stand in agreement with prayer with you guys. Yes. Yeah. Check us out. Oh, you already said that. I don't want to repeat it. But yeah, check us out. We're here for you guys. We're glad to serve you guys on a weekly basis. So we just love y'all.
Yes, and be sure to go ahead and follow Roslyn on Instagram. Her Instagram is on the screen. And be sure to subscribe to her podcast on all podcast platforms. Like, it's so good, y'all. I get a lot of good word from her. Yes. Y'all, so she's hilarious. She's a good time. So y'all won't be disappointed. What's I gonna say? Oh, this is like we said, this is the last interview for March. So next Tuesday there won't be a live interview. We gonna have something for y'all. Don't worry. Y'all gonna see our faces. But until our next live interview, as always, be obedient, and we will see you guys next time. Woo!